Das Boot, ja.
Ah, okay.
Actually, no. Before we stop, can you feel the power? The power of things here. We're essentially hello, Mr. Sands. How are you doing? We are show number 6.
14. We are show 14.
14? How the did that
14.
happen?
Do you remember that middle period where you were drinking quite a bit?
Hang on.
You had a Dennis Hopper moment.
Yes, but we were on show 12 last time, and now we're on show 14.
Oh, so you actually had a lucid moment. That's quite good.
So what's happening? What's happening? What have I just? Did I miss 13? Have you put 13 up? Has that been up already? What's going on?
Even you couldn't drink that much, to be honest, kid. So what it is, 13 is an unlucky number. So I thought this might fuck up the running order.
Are you into all that stuff?
You know what? You know how you call people, the term I heard the other day was, champagne socialists, basically.
Yeah.
I am technically the superstitious version of a champagne socialist. So I'm not superstitious, but I don't want anything bad to happen to me. So I freak out when a black cat walks in front of me or there's a number 13, but that's it. Do I put salt over my shoulder? No, I don't. What's the other voodoo shit that people do? I don't do any of that.
Welcome to show number 14.
14.
It should be 13, but it's 14 because for whatever reason, Mr. Sands is in the house. We're feeling the love tonight. We're feeling the love. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all doing all right. Hang on. Do you like that? That's my radio voice. Do you like it?
No, I like it. Yeah, that's a great intro.
It's a bit like
It's polished.
I can do basically if it all went to rat shit, right? So I could do the whole radio thing, if we get a chance or we get a break.
Yeah.
I can also, if our career goes in a different way, I can also do the fairground as well. Scream if you want to go faster. Jump on, jump in. £1 a ride, £1 a ride. Scream if you want to go faster.
Dude, you just set your
ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show your hosts for this evening, Just a Tip. Welcome to watching Just a Tip. Watching, I don't know why I'm saying watching because it's listening. I mean, obviously, no, it's because basically, I still think this is a TV pilot, but it's on the radio, right? So that's
your second attempt makes me think that the fairground thing will be actually a good career.
That's
diversion.
That's where I get rude.
Well, the thing is,
okay, ladies and gentlemen, you're here with episode 14. I keep forgetting because Sands is just a bit of a prick. Welcome to episode 14. Hope you're doing really well. Where are you listening to your podcasts? Where do you get your podcasts from? Obviously, I'm just not going to... I left a pause there, but I realised that you can't talk back. Although you probably can talk back. Well, I can't hear you. But remember, I'm here for you.
That sounded like a premium rate 0898 number. That sounded too sexy for podcasting.
Yeah. Oh, hang on.
As a diversion, I'm going to have to cut this out. But do you think...
And it was at this point, on the advice of our lawyers, we had to remove this item from our podcast.
It's just going to be bleep, bleep, bleep.
Oh, it's all going to be cut out anyway. That was Controversy Corner, something that we can't actually show on the podcast. But, Kit, I thought you would have set your highs slightly higher, right? I thought with that intro that you did, you could have actually been a continuity announcer.
One more time with feeling. I'm just going to ignore you now, Sands. You're listening to the one and only host, Mr. Kit Johnstone. That's me.
And Sands.
Just a Tip. We are pushing. Would you stop interrupting me? Would you stop interrupting me?
I just want to say, and Sands.
Yeah, would you stop? I'm getting around to that, aren't I? Building it up. Tension.
Oh, okay, cool.
Sake. I mean, this is supposed to be a showcase. It's show 14. It's show 14 now. 14, so we should have got our shit together. I mean, come on. Right?
I'm waiting for you, come on. I'm going to be quiet now.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Just a Tip. My name is Kit Johnstone. Yes, I am. And we are going to be dropping several bombs, several bombs here. There's just some bombs. Oh, hang on. No, hang on. I just had a catastrophic loop machine error. That works.
Did you just press all the buttons together? Is that what it is? You just got into the moment and just like you're like a kid with his finger in the sugar jar. It's like, I've got to touch everything, which you can't do with this COVID-19.
Oh, hang on. Well, yeah, I'll use that one.
Wait a sec.
And please welcome my lovely glamorous assistant for this evening, as ever. Well, I mean, he's not quite so glamorous, but he turns out. So he's living in his car. Oh, or is he living in his car? We find out later on. So please welcome Mr. Sans Mahal.
Oh, thanks for that. Anyway, what's with the glamorous assistant? Am I being demoted again?
Oh, I thought
how does that work out?
Well, I'm calling you glamorous. I thought that was just going to be a bit less insulting than just calling you a.
Yeah, but I don't want to be rude. But do I look like Debbie McGee? Which means I'd have to sleep with. What is his name? I've forgotten his name. Dead that long. I've forgotten. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, okay, can you bleep?
Okay.
Bleep.
I'll bleep all of that.
Yeah, good.
Just say no. Why say it with words when you can say it with sound effects? I understand. God.
And
you sound like that guy from Police Academy masturbating. Uh-oh. Multiple orgasms. Nice. Oh, he's masturbating in a car. Oh, look at that. Talk about meta. Wow.
How's the world of dogging going on? So, firstly, let's just see. Get a bit of a bed underneath. Sans, tell me about your life. Are you still living in the car?
No. Can we start with your original question? How's the life of dogging? I mean, that's very Jeremy Kyle, isn't it? Go straight to the point.
More of that later.
Well, the dogging is actually really like stopped. Oh no, it's the Rozzers. They've come after me.
So you keep stopping, and you and I both know that on the radio or podcast, dead air is a crime.
Dead air is a crime.
When we started this podcast, sorry, we. I'll give you far too much credit. I started this podcast. You just tagged along as you normally do, clinging on like a cleg knob.
Yeah, but I
cling to the hairs of
valued information to all of the people that are writing in with problems. I helped you.
And when was the last time we actually had someone write in?
Well, that was last episode, wasn't it?
But I've got a confession to make, by the way. I realised, and this is I mean, you can keep this in or not. To be honest, you probably want to cut this out because this is actually. I realised why we haven't got a lot of emails because I accidentally deleted the alias email addresses from our Fuzzy Dice account. So that's probably why we haven't been inundated. But I've put it back today. So
why did you break it? You shouldn't touch things you don't know what you're doing with.
That's true.
I like the fact that you said, "Oh yeah, I broke it." Then you do a giant symbol thing as if you're proud of it.
Dude, yeah.
Did you just get on your bicycle?
Yeah. I'm just I'm going to get on my bicycle and then ride round to your car.
Excellent. I don't take cyclists as doggers. You do know that. I do have a certain minimum threshold of. I mean, I'll go as far as diesel, but not. I'll stick to petrol, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
Why would I take on cyclists anyway? You turn up, cycling 90 miles, it's all sweaty. That'll be awful.
So you are.
So with your ADHD, Jay, you're on the ball.
Do you know what? I have to admit, right? That is in 13 chat. That is probably the funniest thing you've actually said by calling me an ADHD, Jay. Because I think I might use it.
Thanks.
At least it
So you can
hasn't
take
all been
bookings?
in vain. Now, welcome to. Shall we introduce the show to the people who might be tuning in for the first time? Because let's be honest, we have been checking the stats on the show. We've got lots of things to mention about the show. What have you got to mention about the show, Sans? It's okay, I'll do it for you. We are on different platforms. What platforms are we on, Sans? That's you.
We are on Deezer, we are on Stitcher, we are on Spotify, we are on the good old-fashioned iTunes. And we post on IGTV, BBC, CBC, ABC, NBC, CBS. Does that help?
And Facebook.
I made the last shit up, to be honest.
And we
We've
have gone international.
That's the thing that's actually really bugging me, right? You look at the stats, and our core audience are Americans. And you know, Americans don't get irony, don't have a sense of humor, and don't understand what's going on.
Well, I mean, we don't really know what's going on either, really, do we? We don't really understand how things work.
The beauty of the British people is that they don't really let on that they don't know. So just worried that we got no patriotism anymore. You know what I mean? It's a British show for British people.
Hang on. Whoa. Why are you doing that? Well, we've had a few people from the US stream us and download us, which we're very grateful for because we think that
no disrespect to the Americans.
They're obviously people of talent and good taste. So we thank you very much for doing that. And we as Just a Tip, and I'm speaking for Just a Tip and not the Sans Mahal. I'm talking as a Just a Tip brand. We are all inclusive.
Oh no, we're definitely all inclusive, but it's a British show with British values. So
of what?
Well, I'm making that bit up as I go along, so I might have to edit like the dead beats here.
So if I do this,
you know what?
This is actually probably making your job a lot harder.
Kit, do you know what the problem is?
Yeah.
The problem is the show is revolving around two grumpy and everyone in Britain loves grumpy fucks.
Hang on. You think everyone loves grumpy fucks? I didn't lose my virginity until I was quite late on, and I can guarantee you that people don't love grumpy fucks. The chance would have been a fine thing.
But that's apples and oranges. You're talking about...
Sorry, so I was a bit late in finding the sound.
Wait a second, you just bigged yourself up. Wait a second, you just done a gag and just bigged yourself up.
Yeah.
So when you do your stand-up, do you laugh at your own jokes after you've done a punchline? Come on, audience, why aren't you laughing with me?
I am pretty cutting edge, and I'm an innovator. I kind of was doing social distancing stand-up way before COVID and way before it was a thing. Yes, you could say that it's because people weren't turning up to the shows, but...
Is that because you were dressed as a giant cat?
Also, you could spin it so people... You know, I wanted to be safe. I wanted people had to have their 2 meters of space when they were in the audience. So I just wanted everyone to be safe.
Yeah, but... And
yes, I was a giant talking cat. Yes, okay, I thought I'd play it safe. When I started doing shows in London, I thought I'd play it safe and dress up like a giant talking cat. Tat. Tat. I thought I'd play
a giant talking tat.
When I got into doing stand-up, in London, I thought, right, I'm on the London comedy scene now. I'm going to have to know my shit. I'm going to have to know what I'm doing. I'm going to have to probably play a little bit safe. What should I do? I'll dress up like a giant talking cat.
It's like those rumours about Bruce Lee. He pretended to die so he could actually go into the criminal underworld to kill bad guys. And having the most famous face in the world to go undercover is not exactly a great thing. And yes, I stole that entire gag from The Office. Fact. Oh, Dead Space, come on, play something. Thank you very much. I'm literally here all week in my car.
I mean, okay, well, fine. Now you've mentioned it, I'm going to talk about stand-up and talk about me. This isn't in the script. What are you talking about? You script? You'll just do this off the cuff. Oh, we would really like to make. I know, obviously, it's nothing to be proud of, but we do actually put a bit of time and thought into it. More than we.
So you did your stand-up as a giant cat. Then how many Edinburgh shows did you do?
I'm almost 40. sake, I'm almost 40, and I basically just sit at a machine and find this funny.
Yeah, but it's those small things, you know what I mean? It's like people in prison, they read the Bible now. It's very, very good of them.
So yeah, for the first gig I did. I mean, basically it was just a room full of everyone else who was performing that day's family and friends. It was quite a packed room, and I thought I went down really well, and I thought, yes, I f***ing made this. I am on the up.
Wait a second, did your wife leave you when you performed on stage?
Not quite.
Did your daughter leave your house as well?
I didn't quite get to that level. So I thought I was definitely on the up. I won't play again. So the second time, my second gig ever was at the Lion's Den, and I don't know if you remember that. That was around about King's Cross.
You're gonna have to describe it for our American audience, by the way. You do know that.
So it was on a show called The Gong Show, which was basically they had a few open spots, and then the main event was basically where you would kind of get gonged off if you were shit, and the audience would gong you off, and the more they liked you, the longer you got to kind of do your show. Now, obviously, I wasn't even that good to actually get on the Gong Show. I just got on the open spots, and one of the 5 open spots before, so I had about 10 minutes to do. And I thought, right, the cat stuff went really well. I'm going to just do the cat stuff because which was basically I've refined it since, and the show I did in Edinburgh a couple of years ago actually was pretty proud of. But initially, it was basically just a whole load of cat puns and pussy jokes.
Was it a catastrophe?
It was a catastrophe, and do you know what? I couldn't even see that as a joke, the catastrophe, when I was doing it. That's how shit I actually was. But
where did it all go wrong?
So I had like a friend. There's a couple of friends at the time, and one of my friends, she was about to go onto her hen do that night to start her hen do. So obviously she thought it would be kind of quite a good thing. Let's go and see my friend.
Start the night, yeah.
Let's go and see my friend. Yeah, he's doing some stand up. Yeah, that'd be great. And then I got my brother down as well. But I went on quite early, and I mean it was quite a trendy London, North London kind of crowd.
Yeah, but you went on the worst spot ever. You do know that.
Yes. Yeah.
Why is it the worst spot?
Why?
We could teach people out there who want to get into stand up. Why is the first spot the worst?
Well, I was actually not first. I was second.
Oh, first and second. The first and second act, no one's loose enough, no one's relaxed, no one's drunk enough. So it's tougher for you to actually get any laughs out of the crowd because they're just moody bunch of shits. It's only when the booze flows that they actually loosen up.
And no one really wants to watch the open spots anyway, because so there's people just basically at the bar talking, and it's quite difficult. People are going to their seat and stuff. So it's you think when you're initially starting out, or I did when you're kind of initially starting out, you think that everyone's going to be hanging off every word as if you're like Richard Pryor doing a gig, and
I was going to say Prokofiev.
That's
the same?
That's obviously that's each of your own, and that's definitely not the case. You couldn't get further away from the case. So from what it was like, so I went to the toilet. I got dressed up as my cat. I came out, and I was just waiting. And obviously my friends were a little bit late, and then they eventually turned up. I think about 30 seconds before I went on. So I was there sort of by myself, and I thought I'd have a pint. I think it's so again, Lion's Den was quite a well known place a few years ago.
It still is a well known place,
and it's moved now as well. I think it's moved to central London, so I think it's more Leicester Square.
I mean, the original guy who started it unfortunately passed away 3 years ago, so we'll put his name in the show notes.
Yeah.
So respectfully, for a change, but. I mean, I didn't perform at the Lion's Den, but Lion's Den was notorious because it's pay or play. So you had to bring 2 friends with you, and you paid £3 just to perform.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of people were up in arms about that and really didn't like it. But they always had a full night of people, but people wanted to just basically get their 5-minute spot, work their routine, and all that. That's fine.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Sans. I didn't pay £3, and I didn't. Well, I ended up bringing people, but I didn't pay £3.
Okay. Well, do you want to hear about my stand-up attempt?
Did you do it at Lion's Den?
I did not do it at the Lion's Den.
Okay,
It was worse than that. It was a club in East London.
I just need to finish this story because otherwise we'll never get around to fucking finishing the story.
Okay.
So obviously, I'm there doing my cat puns, my really really shit jokes, and it was just everything about it was just horrendous, right? And I just thought, well, fuck it. So the club, Stephen Merchant's played there from The Office. On the night I was there, an English comic who is now lives in LA, Eric Lampere. He was actually on. I was outside having a drink with him, and he was also just getting started. I think he'd got, he'd been doing it for about a year. So he's kind of he was getting student gigs and stuff. So he'd made it in my eyes at that point. He was like, I want to be this guy, and nothing's really changed. But so I was thinking, yes, he's going to see me, and then I'm going to watch him, and he's going to be like, hey man, yeah, let's kind of hook up, and we can do some writing, and we're going to take the world by storm. What actually happened was I did my 10-minute set. It was fucking awful. No one really laughed. Not even my friends laughed. It was so bad. Not even
a sympathy laugh.
It was so bad. And then, my friends went, yeah, we've got to go to Hindu now. So it was clearly that bad that they basically off as soon as possible. I basically just, I wasn't living in London, I was living back in Cambridge at the time. So I jumped on the train back at King's Cross straight to London. Straight back to Cambridge, back home. And my brother, whilst I was on the train, texted me and said, hey bro, where are you? And I went, halfway back home. And he was like, oh, okay. Went that well then, did it? And I was like, yeah. Yeah, let's never talk of this again.
So you living in Cambridge, you came to London like Michael J. Fox in Secret of My Success.
Yeah, exactly.
Another film reference.
Yeah.
And you went back to Cambridge with your tail between your legs.
Quite literally, the cat tail between my legs. I mean, actually thinking about it, because with hindsight is a wonderful thing, and also a massive bell end as well. I think that
hindsight is a bell end. Nice.
I don't think it was actually that bad because thinking about it, because in my head I was like, it was just so horrendous. But then I think it was kind of, people didn't really know when to laugh, and they couldn't really work out what I was, and and all that kind of thing. They couldn't work out if it was serious, if I was deliberately taking the piss, or and thinking about it now, quite a lot of people came up to me afterwards and were actually chatty and really nice. And obviously, me being sort of slightly socially inept and retarded, as we've discussed on the show several times,
ad infinitum, yes.
I couldn't really see that at the time, and just thought, no, that's it. I've got to go.
A few years after that, you did two sets of Edinburghs, didn't you?
Yeah, but it was because of that, because I didn't want this to completely stop me. So what I then did was I happened to get in touch with a guy called Colin Clark, who we're now very close. He's also a character of mine, and I deliberately wrote it. So it was kind of like I deliberately wrote it for the trendy London crowd.
Yeah.
And who so if people didn't laugh, it did. The more people didn't laugh, the more actually I thought that was going well, and I could kind of buzz off that and had something to say. So if things that I was saying that normally would kind of get a little bit of a laugh with Colin, the more that if people weren't kind of finding it funny, the more that I tried to find build like an environment where that was the best case scenario, and really Colin's world is quite bleak and quite sad, and
yes,
actually that kind of plays into that. I mean, one of Colin's gigs, for instance, that I did, because I ended up doing quite a few gigs with Colin, and I have done quite a few gigs with Colin. One was the design centre in just the South Banky, sort of Shad Thamesy way by Tower Bridge in London. So very kind of like very sort of famous area, very expensive area by the river, by the big Tower Bridge in London, very big iconic building. Kind of just next to that, or sort of about 100 or 200 yards down, there's a design museum, and they had a Christmas party, and it was open to the public and everything, and they had music and they had nibbles and they had drinks and food and then they had a few comedians as well, and so I got a gig there. So they couldn't fit us in anywhere. They physically didn't have the space, and so they basically set the microphone up at the bottom of the stairs. So
nice.
And so all the other comics, and they were fantastic comics. They were really up and coming, and I kind of worked with them I kind of saw them and gig with them like afterwards since. And they really are tight. They're really good comics. But in that environment, because people kind of walking past, and they were, there were a few people kind of standing around, sort of watching the gig. But Colin, to Colin, like people coming and going, that was probably one of the best gigs that I have ever had, because it's just in his world, people come in and then they leave. And so
they leave inspired.
We should probably explain. Should we explain Colin? Is that getting too meta?
Okay, go on. Explain Colin. He's now been on 2 episodes, so I think it's worth giving him a back history now.
Yeah. So Colin is an interesting character. He's quite somber.
Somber, good.
Yeah, he's quite a somber character. He
is he the life of the party?
No, he's not really. He's not. He's quite the opposite life of the party. He doesn't really know how to interact with people in social situations. I mean, I don't know where I get the ideas for these people. Sans, honestly, for these characters. I mean, they're nothing like me at all whatsoever.
I'm sure they're based on people you've met. That's
all people I've got, in my own body. So
you're sounding a bit Fred West there, but carry on. That's fine.
Yeah, that does sound. Oh, hang on. I'm sounding a bit Fred West.
I'm going to wear her skin.
Hello, Clarice. And
silence of the Johnston.
Yeah, he has. He writes poems as a form of expression, and basically they're poems really just as basically he doesn't really get talked to many people, and so he goes to places so he can have long conversations, and so places where you really hate, places that take so long, like subways. If you went to a subway and they ask you about 5 million questions, and you no matter how many questions and no matter how much you don't want to come out with a cheesesteak footlong, you're always going to come out with a cheesesteak footlong. Now, having answered 500 million questions,
which sauce do you want? Do you want salad? Do you want onions? Do you want cucumbers?
What type of bread do you want? Do you want bread? What type of bread do you want? How big do you want? Do you want it toasted? Do you want salad? Yes. What salad do you want? Do you want and all that?
I went to a Subway once and I went for that whole ordeal, and it was really tense, and it felt like a David Mamet play. They just kept firing all this stuff at me, and I was just like, I'm trying to work the room. Come on. I mean, he's like, I don't want onions. I don't want tomatoes. I'm trying to murder me. What is it, a bank job? Come on, tell me. Jesus. Sorry, carry on.
So Subway's obviously really frustrating, but to Colin, it's like a dream come true. He goes to Subway. People ask him lots of questions, and it's like he sees that as a conversation. That's his in as a conversation.
So he actually drags it all out.
Yeah. So that's
He sounds like the kind of person who goes, where are the onions sourced from? Is he that kind of person?
He's not a complete he's not really a ponce. He just wants to just have a chat, and if you can, have a cuddle. So I mean, obviously, these COVID times aren't doing him. He's not faring well. Poor old
So he
Colin.
just lived. Well, I presume the way you explain Colin, he doesn't understand Zoom, so he's completely stuck indoors, isolated.
Yeah.
Like Kurt Russell in The Thing.
I mean, we're also not really sure what his job does. I mean, that's obviously another idea which we haven't quite developed properly. There's a running theme with that meta. Do
you want to hear about my stand-up?
I do want to hear about your stand-up.
Well, I mean, I can actually top you. Okay, you said you had a bad gig, but you done 2 Edinburgh shows and all that kind of thing. So obviously we met through a shared love of comedy, but 10 years ago, 11 years ago, you can play the music if you want, the Owl theme. So
well, I mean, yeah, but if I play that music, then it means that we're not going to get any royalties for this on YouTube.
Oh yeah, that's very true actually. Oh well, no, but it's too late now. So that's all done. The weird thing is, I'm becoming discombobulated when you don't play sound effects and music. I'm like, oh God, it's really quiet. You're trying to throw me off, but I don't feel like I'm getting thrown off now. Anyway, I digress. So me and my friend Al, I'll call him Al, trying to get him on the show. Me and him, you banter and talk to people. It's like, oh yeah, just like talking, cracking jokes and all that, and creating elaborate stories.
Yeah.
Me and him said, oh, at the height of actually live comedy, live amateur comedy, we said, let's just do an open mic night. You write 5 minutes, I'll write 5 minutes. We're going to go to an amateur night. We're going to storm it. We're going to become millionaires. We're going to tour. We're going to which we weren't technically going to do because we were both married, but that's not the point. So what happened was
you were going to be dropping bombs.
Drop bombs like platoon. So
sorry, yeah.
For the so that one was for the Far East contingent that were listening.
Yeah.
Welcome, Japan.
Sorry, yeah.
That's fine. So
you and Al, come on.
Yeah. So me and Al, the thing is, mine was a disaster. Well, even worse than a disaster, and I'll explain why. So my mate did his 5 minutes. He just went on.
Where was it?
I forgot what it is. It's actually run by this poet guy. I'll have to put his name in the show notes.
Not Colin.
No, not Colin. He was in East London. It was an open mic night. It was free. You come in, do it, and it's an excuse for him to do his poetry on stage while getting completely pissed. But my favourite one was the fact that he had an Indian DJ that did the intros, and his name was DJ Call Center. So I don't know where the lines of political incorrectness was. It's true story. So my mate went up. He did his 5 minutes. Really, his first ever.
Hang on, everything's connected, isn't it? Because we were chatting, like obviously off pod, about curry and chips.
Oh yeah, well yeah, we can get to that. That's an entire episode in itself about 70s comedy.
Okay.
Peter Sellers.
Sorry. So yeah.
I don't know. It's worth going into at some point, but it's all related.
Yeah.
Isn't racism fun? No. So he did his 5 minutes on it. First time he's been on stage, he just stormed it and all that kind of thing. Then it was my turn. I went, you get that sinking feeling in your stomach. But I walked up on the stage. It wasn't that much of a sinking feeling. That was more like it, yes. That was more on par to how I was feeling. That's good. So I went up on stage and I just started saying my routine. And it's all about tits and fannies and like cocks and all that kind of thing. But I became self-conscious trying to do a stand-up in front of, there were ladies present and all that. And I just literally went, penis. And I heard my own voice come back to me, as obviously you do. And I just stood there for 3 seconds.
You've never gone into this much detail before, and this is brilliant. Sorry. You stood there for 3 seconds. I know exactly how you're feeling as well. But so you stood there 3 seconds.
Yeah. But you don't know the worst.
Yeah.
So I basically looked and I walked off. So I didn't do my routine. I literally said one word into the microphone, heard my own voice. I started walking off, and everyone started booing me. but they were booing me in a positive way. Do you know what I mean? It's weird. They were literally saying, "Go, no, do your routine, come back on the stage. Go, just finish. You can do it," and all that kind of thing. It's like the Stephen Hawking Olympics. You know what I mean? It's just you can get across that line with that. You know, you've got 3% battery left in your engine. So I never went back. So I sat in the back with my mate Al, and was just like, and I just sitting there going shell shocked. And that was my first ever stand-up comedy gig. And to make things even better, Kit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I felt at the back actually. But the guy, I asked the guy who runs it, the poet guy, how many people have actually walked off stage, and he looked at me and goes, "You're the only one."
Well, yeah, brilliant.
I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, kick me while I'm down. That's good."
Brilliant.
Then I've not done stand-up since, but I've gone to stand-ups and I love stand-up comedy.
No, that's not true, because we can get on to the next step, but the next time. But so what kind of material was it?
It literally was rude material. Do you want me to dig it out and put it in the show notes? I'll put it on the website, fuzzydice.co.uk.
If you
I'll put it in the show notes.
I can't imagine you doing like really blue material. That's just hilarious. It's just.
Have you met me?
Well, hello, welcome to my name is Sansmio, and welcome to anyway, what a cracking pair of breasts there. Ooh, you know what I mean?
Kit, yeah, I don't want to be funny, but I know we'll carry on with this. That's not a problem. But I just realised we're supposed to be just a tip, helping people help themselves, giving life wins to people with life woes.
We're turning life woes into life wins.
Yeah, turning life woes into life wins. And we've just basically both told our stories of being utterly loserish. What with a happy ending for you anyway.
What we've done? Well, not really, because I'm making this bollocks, aren't I? With you and
yes. I mean, yeah, but this is the dip before the peak. You hit rock bottom and thought, I could do a podcast and just talk bollocks, which is what we're doing.
This is the dick
comedy
before
gold.
The peak. This is the dick before the peak, which is one of your jokes, I think, from your stand-up routine.
Yeah, no, it's all like rude. I can't remember it now, but it's all rude material. It's like rude, like saucy seaside humor. It's like, oh yes, some penis, vagina.
Oh yes.
I realise you don't do that.
Sex. Oh, you cheeky. Oh, you are so cheeky, aren't you? Oh, yes. Wait, was it rude as Howard?
Oh, I'll tell you a story about my mate. Who, you know the comedy store Gong Show?
Yes.
So the Americans will probably know that they've got the equivalent of a Gong Show, where people in the audience will put up a flag. If you get 3 flags or you get gonged off by the compere, you're off.
Yeah.
My mate lasted 3 seconds.
Oh my God, that's amazing. What happened?
This was the world famous comedy store in London, Gong Show, on the Sunday night. I wasn't performing because I was shell shocked from the previous thing. My mate Al lasted 3 minutes actually.
Yeah.
And my mate, who I won't name, I often call him my crazy friend to anyone I've spoken to.
Yeah.
So he went up on stage, and as of even 2 weeks ago, this was 10 years ago, even of 2 weeks ago, I will say it now and again, and he'll just go very quiet on me on the phone and go, "You bastard." so he went on stage. Kit, who's that Australian comic that's famous on HBO now in America?
I don't know.
He's the rude Australian comic. He's like does filth material. He's got his own show on HBO. He did stand up in this country. Went to America.
I don't know. No idea.
He was the MC on that day. Now he's super big shit in America, and I'll have to put his name in the show notes. In fact, I'm going to edit his name in to the podcast, right, just to make us less dumb.
Sands was referring to Jim Jeffries, a very famous Australian comic who made his name in the UK, then moved to America with a couple of comedy specials and his own show on HBO.
Yeah.
He was comparing that night, and basically my crazy friend went up, and he had
Jim Jeffries,
stand-up comic. Jim Jeffries. Jim Jeffries was the comp living and performing in London.
Off. Was it Jim Jeffries?
I swear to God, it was. No, he was in London before he went to America. He talks about it. He was gigging here in London. Anyway, my mate walked on stage and he got the microphone and he went, "Isn't laughter the best medicine?" All 3 flags went up in the audience and Jim Jeffries literally went off. And my mate just like walked off. Then everyone in the audience started getting really upset. They're going, "Oh, we should give him a bit more time." Then Jim Jeffries, if I remember correctly, just went,
But I mean, now that's a cool story. It's like I got heckled by Jim Jeffries. That is,
yeah. But
he should start using that as a like that's a great opener. That's a great opener. Either as small talk, and obviously being not the biggest fan of a social gathering, so small talk is obviously not my strong point. But also, if you wanted to do stand up again, that's brilliant. You could eke a whole 50-minute Edinburgh set out of being heckled by Jim Jeffries. Being heckled by Jim Jeffries. That time I was heckled by Jim Jeffries is actually quite a good name for an hour.
Yeah, I mean, we had a drink with him outside, and he was really cool. But the funny thing is the fact that even of last week or 2 weeks ago, I phoned up my friend and goes, "Yeah, isn't laughter the best medicine?" Oh, kids, out of the way! There's a truck coming. But yeah,
So we should get your mate out on the show, and we can just I can just play this over again.
Yeah, isn't laughter the best medicine?
Oh, I haven't been that well this week, but laughter is the best medicine, so I can do this.
Yeah, no, he's not the kind of podcast person, so
well,
he's
why
a bit
not?
low profile these days.
A bit low profile. What?
Yeah.
I mean, is he dodgy? Is he?
I can neither confirm nor deny any kind of dodginess on that fact. But consider he will not be on the show anytime soon.
Okay, right. So
if he is, he'll be under a pseudonym.
Oh, okay.
Should we get on with the show?
I mean,
we've turned down life woes into life wins. That's good, isn't it?
We've basically just started talking about right load of cobblers, and right load nonsense. I mean, we've even planned this show. We might as well just use this show 14 to. It's not 13. No, 14.
Yeah, it's 14.
14.
That's bad luck.
Okay, so we might as well just use show 14 and show 15, and then that's one less show to do for us because we've just spoken cobblers.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's our bullshit banter anyway about stand-up comedy. And to be honest, like I said earlier on, we hope someone's learned from this. There's a lot of tips to actually learn from doing stand-up comedy properly. We just didn't follow those rules.
I mean, how could I also forget, right? So the second time, with a break of about 9 or 10 years, you did stand-up, and we were doing a comedy double act of some characters called the Mungbeaners. Now, would you like to describe what the Mungbeaners are?
Oh, hi, Tarquin. Yeah, it's me, Fuqua. Yeah. I'm just in the back of a taxi. I'm trying to get to East London to meet Tim Westwood. Yeah. I'm trying to get a 3-picture deal with him and his life right. Yeah. God, that boy. Yeah, he's got a great history about him. Yeah, very exciting. Yeah. Who thought he just did more than just play records on a hip-hop station? Yeah. I just wanted to point you out to something, Tarquin. Yeah. The taxi driver, he's playing this podcast with this guy called Kitten Sands. Yeah, they've got their own podcast called Just the Tip. Yeah. And right now they're talking about us. It's unbelievable. Yeah, all this free publicity is very exciting. Yeah. It's all very meta as well. They sound very similar. Yeah. Okay, let me give you a call later on. Okay, Shasha. Yeah, Shasha. Bye. Yeah. Taxi driver. Yeah, do you know where you're going? Oh, yeah.
Well, just East London, isn't it? Just East London. Okay.
Mungbean.
Again, we'll put it in the show notes, but as a bullet point, the Mungbeaners are two socially inept, upper middle class posh people trying to make a film.
Say Mungbean.
Yeah.
So one's called Tarquin and one's called Fuqua.
Fuqua. Yeah. And they're trying to get a film about a fish with AIDS, like a short film made, trying to turn it into a feature film. And it's basically the first series was about their ineptitude in trying to get like film deals with like Scorsese, Soderbergh, and Spielberg, essentially. So that was the concept of the series 1. And series 2,
all via FaceTime. Yeah. We just do everything via FaceTime. Let's just do via FaceTime. Yeah. Because we're on the socials, Yeah. We can just do. We live on our phone. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Which is weird because we did that long before it became the norm.
Yeah.
People didn't really FaceTime as much because people don't like looking at each other's ugly faces. So now that's a necessity that we have to look at each other's ugly faces just to remember what another face looks like in lockdown. We filmed that in that way. The second series was about they basically went from the film business into the music business, into grime, rap, and hip hop.
Because they're from the mean streets of Hampstead.
Yeah, the mean streets of Hampstead, and the
which is ironic. Which is ironic.
I think they're both on YouTube, and I'm gonna put all the links on the show notes. And I think our American friends, God bless you, who love English humor, they might not like yours and our English humor, but it's there for the world to see. Yeah, so that's the Mungbeaners. Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah. So we thought, well, let's in preparation, let's try and do a Mungbeaners hour, right, or at least 40 minutes, like a live show. So again, we let's do an open spot. So we go on like a Monday or Tuesday night. Let's go down to
where did we go?
So we went to somewhere, it was a nice pub in the sort of North London, above a pub, and it was the usual sort of place on a Monday or Tuesday night where you go to open mic nights. Yeah. Again, the audience is basically the people who are also performing. I think there's one couple in that weren't performing, and so it's basically standard. That's the normal for small, especially open spots.
So no one's really gonna laugh, are they? Because they're all worried about their own act. Because we didn't laugh at anyone else's act, so we're like, oh, okay.
Well, no, I try to. I mean, the thing is, I didn't really give a shit because I don't really give a shit because I've died several other times worse than look
at you, Dalai Lama. No, I've died in previous lives. Yeah.
I once had a gig, and the worst the gig that I thought it was going to be the worst gig was it was me by myself, and the room was actually full, but it was full of rowdy Glaswegians. And I just thought, oh no, this is not going to go well. This is really not going to go well. And basically, I didn't really do the routine. I just ended up singing "What's New, Pussycat" by Tom Jones for about 35 minutes, and then they said they hadn't laughed so hard in a long time, and ended up giving me quite a lot of tips and filling the bucket. So it's everybody's a learning experience.
And this from the Kit Johnston, who doesn't ask for tips, if I remember correctly.
I know, yeah, no. So whenever you do things like Edinburgh, especially in the Free Fringe, people, the common phrase is, "It's free to get in, but it's not free to get out." It's free to get in, listeners, but not free to get out.
You'd never take the bucket round, would you? Get spare some cash for an ex-leper?
No, exactly. I'm really bad at that. I was so bad at it because I think people don't want to pay for this for watching this nonsense. And
but you won over some Glaswegians.
Yeah, and it was
the hardest race alive to make laugh, right?
And they were absolute sweethearts. They were so sweethearts. And they're naturally funny anyway. So you're battling. I mean, my Johnstone, being a Johnstone, they're from Glasgow area anyway. So sort of family wise, and they are adorable. And they are some of the funniest people ever.
Oh, okay.
But also, they are equally some of the hardest people. And I was obviously a bit nervous anyway. There by myself, room full of pissed up Glaswegians, and
Yeah.
I've had such a great time doing it.
Oh,
And,
no, fair play.
And
A story with a
quite
happy ending.
Yeah.
This is the just a tip formula.
So anyway, so when we do back to your misery, which is far more fun.
Yeah. Let me just take my shoes off in my car. Thank you very much. Yes. Let's carry on.
But we put our names down.
Yes.
And
no, Kit, no. Let's get Craig David on here. Let's rewind.
Okay.
Yeah. You're missing out on the rehearsal spot. Remember the rehearsals? You laugh because you were there.
Yeah, go on. You do this bit.
So for our American listeners, you're supposed to rehearse this like day in, day out and try to get it wrong. We just rehearsed it a couple of times. And one of them, we rented in North London a music rehearsal room to run through the material.
Which I think the photo for the podcast is actually from that day.
Actually, it is. Yeah, correct. Yeah. So, let me sound like Columbo. So, Kit found a fatal flaw in Sans. A small flaw, but it's one that had big ramifications. It seems that Sans could not remember the f***ing script. So, the entire rehearsal involved Kit shouting at Sans and kept doing line readings. Now, if you don't work in cinema, line readings are the worst thing you'll ever do to an actor. Yeah? You'll say the line, and then the actor says the line. I say the line, you say the line. So kids kept saying the line, and it got worse than that because I started getting unhinged slightly, right? I was trying to say something, and I'd get it wrong. And Kid would say, no! It's dang. Then I'll go, dang. Then you go, no, dang.
Let's recreate it. Let's recreate it.
I can't even remember what the line was.
So it was basically yeah. I mean, how you couldn't really remember a lot of the lines because they were just yeah. It was basically one word over and over again, just start saying yo.
Yeah, but they were bookends.
Go, just start doing your fuckwa impression.
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. It's wrong. It's not yeah. It's yeah. For f***'s sake, what are you doing? You.
Okay. It's yeah.
For about 8 hours, right?
Yeah, that was about it was actually 4 hours. We can exaggerate to 8 hours. It felt like 8 hours. It felt like I was extraordinary rendition by CIA Black Ops into a North London recording studio, which it was, and it was just okay. And to top it all off, right, you managed to bludgeon the words into me. It's like, okay, finally, to a certain degree, but we still went on stage, and I was reading off a piece of paper. Yay!
No.
Kit. Can I just say one thing? Can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
Can I just say one thing? Yeah. If I had an out-of-body experience and I was sitting in the audience staring at myself, holding a piece of paper, I was like one of those hostages reading off a pre-written piece of paper saying that if you don't back off, they're going to kill me. That's literally how I felt my performance was. You were good. Don't get me wrong. But you sort of,
Why, thank you.
Yeah, and you because I couldn't remember a thing about it because literally. But you said someone laughed in the audience.
Yeah, people were laughing.
I think it was a sympathy laugh. It's probably like, look at these clowns.
It's never as bad as it. I mean, and then there was that one guy who came up to us and afterwards went, "Yeah, so you're doing a double act, are you?" Yeah. So this guy, like, I want to paint a picture. You could tell that again. He was probably he hadn't done many gigs, but he'd done a few, and they all kind of gone quite well. And or when I said quite well, he just hadn't died in his arse, so it wasn't. He not
Yeah.
he not stormed them. He definitely didn't storm them. He wasn't particularly fluent, and he was he drinking again. Yeah, drinking in his car again, which we'll get onto in a sec. So he was definitely, he thought that he was Stuart Lee, and obviously, if you don't know Stuart Lee, then just go and YouTube him, and you can see that how brilliantly talented that he is. But so
Yeah.
he thought that this guy thought he was like the next Stuart Lee, and
Oh, okay.
he really wasn't. And you probably don't even remember this guy because you were probably like in shock. Had PTSD for most of the time until you went
I was
and
like
got
Matt Damon at the end of
Yeah.
at the end of what was that? I was going to say A Few Good Men, but that's Tom Cruise. Oh my god.
Anyway, so he kind of came over to us like, during the interval, or no, was it right at the end? I think it was right at the end. Oh yeah, so you tried to do and what was it that you were doing? And we were like, oh, it's a double act, isn't it? Character comedy. That's why
Yeah.
that's why there were two of us on stage. You prick. It's quite obvious.
But you only said that in your head.
Yeah, no, of course. And so he went, and then he started giving us advice, and I'm like, I mean, obviously, I like people kind of throwing advice. Sorry, not advice, but I like people's true opinions about, like, don't sugarcoat it. Just give us, because that's not really very helpful a lot of the time. Apart from to you at some point, because you were quite delicate. But most of the time, give me your honest opinion, because we can learn more from that. And it might not be what we want to hear, but still we can learn a lot more from that. And that's just generally as a rule in life. I try and use that and live by that. But this guy was just he was just such an arrogant arsehole. Oh yeah, man. Yeah. So yeah. Well, I'm like so good, and it's like, no, you're not. You're not that good. You might be. You might become very, very good, but since and into the few, like we still.
Has he got his own car?
No, he doesn't have his own car.
And he doesn't have his own podcast.
He doesn't have his own podcast. I mean, he might have his own podcast because most people have got podcasts nowadays. But I can guarantee.
I don't think he has. He's too self-absorbed.
I can guarantee you, his podcast is probably so dull and up at his own arse.
I'm sure it's going to be pretentious like Oscar Wilde.
But obviously, when he does get big, we can just say, "Love, you were amazing. We gigged with you, and you were fantastic. You were really, oh my god, yeah." We were doing that.
Do you remember his name? Do you remember his name?
We were doing that double act. Yeah, well, I'm not going to say it now, am I?
Oh no. We'll take that one offline, essentially. So yes, okay. If you remember his name, that's fine.
And I'll have to dig his name up. But yeah, so anyway, you see, we went on and did. Well, you got through the lines. We got through the entire set.
Yeah, just say I read through the lines. Yes.
Yeah, no, we still got through it. I mean, you didn't walk off like 5 seconds in. You didn't get heckled by Jim Jeffries, so therefore you're still not you still
the game is still in play.
Yeah, and so and it wasn't that bad. People were kind of laughing as well. So like, I think there's kind of potential there. But you got off, and you had that moment that I had at Dressed Like a Cat in the Lion's Den. You were wanting to go home, like you were. you mentally, you instead of going back to your seat, you kind of, I think you wanted to go downstairs and just off, catch a train back to
Cambridge.
Yeah, back to Cambridge. You don't even live there.
Yeah, you'd be texting me, Sans, where are you? Goes, yeah, halfway to Cambridge. That bad was it? Yeah, you should know, Kit. You were there.
Whenever anything goes bad now, whenever we have a gig, it was like, and it doesn't go very well. It's just Yeah, how was it? Halfway to Cambridge.
Which sounds like a crap AC/DC album cover, but fine.
It's the AC/DC album, which was one of the middle albums.
That's
It was,
when
it
they're
was,
running out of steam.
exactly. It was in the 90s when like some of them were all in rehab, and there was only like the replacement drummer left from the original lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to speak to the lawyers about that, so that's fine. So everything we wanted to talk about from the show is not really going to happen, is it? And there are funny kind of elements, and people can see the tragedy in it.
Yeah.
Which in this case is sped up. Yay! So, as you probably noticed, Kit, we have gone off-piste on the actual story schedule of what Just a Tip is all about. So
that's very unlike us.
We're very unlike us to be.
We're normally very structured and very militant.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, very true. But I'm going to put a couple of adverts in, a couple of. Oh no, we can actually put an advert out. Anyone who gets this far. So we're going to go on. We're going to put the advert out on the socials, but obviously our podcast being listened to by millions and millions of people. So we're going to halfway through. We're inspired by film stories because he was helping out other people and putting out 20-second adverts. So I think halfway through our show, we're going to see if we're going to get people for themselves to put a 20-minute podcast, 20-minute advert for their own podcast, which we'll put within our podcast. And obviously, we're not going to take the piss. So I'm going to put that out in the socials and in the show notes as well. So that's God. That sounded really boring, like the terms and conditions, doesn't it? Do you want to just click on continue?
I literally just I wasn't really listening. What?
Oh yeah, that's fair. Like I did with the iTunes terms and conditions. Yeah. Scroll, tick. Yeah, whatever. Oh God, I've just sold my life away. Yeah.
Yo. Yeah. Coming down to the iTunes terms and conditions. What we're going to say about the... We haven't really spoken about you being in your car. At all. I mean, to be honest,
this has been the off-piste show. This is going to be the off-piste show.
I know we do love being meta. Because obviously you are living in your car, and you have been living in your car, and
yes.
We joke about you living in your car because that's obviously a not a horrendously sad and depressing situation. We joke about that. All that is 100% real. But I think this is a very, very weird chat we've just had.
Yeah. Do you know what I realised in the last 2 weeks since the last podcast? I've actually realised I'm actually like an undercover New York detective from the 70s. Ask me why.
Why, Sans?
Oh God, I'm glad you asked me why, kid. Without any prompting whatsoever. I've noticed that because I'm living in my car, I've got to do this as a rat. I noticed because I'm living in my car, I have to drive 70 miles an hour down the motorway. Because I take a shit on the side of the road, I've got to leave toilet paper on the side of the road. And I've got loads of cans of Guinness. Obviously, I don't drink and drive. I, park up. I've got loads of cans and I've got to get rid of them. So I have to drive and throw them out the window at discrete kind of locations.
In recycle.
So no one's going to...
Into recycle.
Yeah. Do I have to say that for the lawyers? Because there's no way I'm going to drive 70 miles an hour, throw a can out the window, and it's going to magically go into a bin. That happens to be on a motorway.
It's a talent. You've got a special talent.
Oh, okay. The lawyers have tapped you on the shoulder. Yes, it's a special talent I have, Kit. I can throw a can from a car at 70 miles an hour. I'm like Mel Gibson in Lethal Weapon, right? You can kill someone from 200 yards away. Yeah. I wins. That's me with Guinness cans.
All right.
Do you want to hear? Okay, before we wrap this up, right? Do you want someone sent in a letter? Do you want to hear another letter for just a tip?
No,
should we do someone?
No, let's do the next one.
Can we do it for this one?
Well, no, because I think it was actually quite a nice little chat which we've had. I don't want to ruin it.
What the are you saying? Are you saying that the letter that I got from someone,
Yeah.
which is heavily gag laden, is going to be a bit of a downer as to end this show?
Yeah,
Speak your mind.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it next time. Let's do it for show 15 because it means that we have to plan one less show.
That's. I've got to wait another period of time for my gag laden letter from someone famous.
And if we do show 15, then we're only 5 shows away from 20 shows. I mean, and if we get to 20 shows, and
you get a free cheeseburger, yeah, great.
If we get to 20 shows and we're still doing
stamps.
This shit, and we're out of lockdown, then we are hitting the town. We are socially distancing, getting up.
Yeah, but Kit, I've sort of things up anyway because of my superstitious beliefs. So we're gonna have to go to to get 20 shows. We'll have to be to episode 21.
Oh, for sake. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like if it says 20, that's 20 in my book. I don't care if it's 19. 19 is still good.
Well,
Technically, 19
except for
is good.
technically 19 is good, except for COVID-19.
Yeah. Okay. That's not good.
Can you do a sound effect for that? Oh, for sake! Any sound effect will do. How can you end a gag like that with the Sweeney?
You can end any gag with the Sweeney.
And any. Oh my god! Hey Kit, I just realised what I've got to do is one in the show notes.
What? We're wrapping the show up now, Sans, we're wrapping the show up now.
I know, but I realised what I've got to do while we're wrapping up the show.
What?
I've realised I've actually got to put in the Sweeney in the show notes because most Americans won't know gritty 70s British crime dramas.
Oh, I think
That's
we need to enlighten them into the ways of the Dennis Waterman. I mean,
okay, we're gonna have for the next. Okay, for the next show, we're actually gonna have to do a breakdown.
Also, what was the?
We're gonna have to do an actual mini show of a 3-minute breakdown of Dennis Waterman for the American market. You do know that.
I mean, also, I've just discovered this today. So this is Dennis Waterman and George Coleman on Top of the Pops, which is was obviously a big show. And it's
I've actually watched that as well. Which is really sad.
What are we gonna get her indoors, right? It's a Christmas novelty single.
Before my lady died. Lovely sirloin steak the way she whacks you in the eye. She would. You know. All right, I will concede. We're standing here with nothing, and it's nearly. What about that person?
I mean, it was a different time, wasn't it? Like, oh, what are you going to get her indoors? It's like, yeah.
But is that euphemism?
What are you going to get her indoors? I mean, I don't know about you, but if I called my partner her indoors, then I would probably get a saucepan to the testicles.
No. Because she's even highly qualified, highly motivated, and from what you said, highly dedicated to Joe Wick's exercise workouts. She will not
Sean T.
in the testicles with a saucepan.
Sean T.
Sorry?
Sean T. She does Sean T.
Sean too.
Sean T. She does T25 and Insanity, not Joe Wicks.
Oh right. Oh okay. You know, I mean, basically she'll you up. It's as simple as that.
Anyway,
anyway,
enough of this nonsense. Okay, just say goodbye, Sam. Say goodbye.
No. One thing.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm
thank you very much for the show.
I'm going to be PA. Okay, 10 seconds to end of show. 9 seconds to off air.
Thank you very much for everybody for listening in.
3
and good night and
1.
Enjoy your evening, people.
Can you feel the power? The power of sex.
Another show successfully. Can you feel the power? The power of the tip.